What's going on, guys? On YouTube, I'm gonna fire up the Facebook and we'll get it cracking. What's going on, everybody? I got the YouTube cracking and the Facebook. Somebody asked me on YouTube yesterday, how come I never live stream anymore? So I got them both cracking. If you're on Facebook, you could just see my face. YouTube, you could kind of see my mess. I'm still putting together my apartment and little studio here. But I want to talk about today. The CEO of Goya has been viciously attacked by the media and a lot of activists, or whatever they want to call themselves, for simply complimenting and praising the president of the United States. We're going to talk about it, what's going on, when this is going to stop, and most importantly, how probably 99% of the audience that buys Goya probably won't care. So they're just talking to themselves. But I want to stand up for people who actually stand up for the president, unapologetically do it, and he refuses to apologize. It's fantastic news, and we need more CEOs and people in powerful positions to do this, because as I talked about earlier, I was actually on Newsmax. I had a little segment, but they're never going to stop, and they're just going to tear each other down. So there's really no reason to get on your knees and bow down to them. Drew Brees apologized, and the new Eminem song just came out with Kid Cudi, and he said, F Drew Brees. It's like the dude apologized and they're still blaming him. But I got more exciting news that you guys are going to care a lot about. Obviously, I got my coffee, but I got glass bottles. People said anomaly. What's up with the plastic? I'm not even talking about the environmental aspect of it, but there's little toxins or whatever. So I got the glass bottles. I know you guys are going to be thrilled. The double filtered water. See, I was playing around last year. People think, wow, your videos are doing so well. I wasn't even trying. I was drinking water out of plastic bottles. Now I have double filtered water. It's going to be a crazy year. I got some coffee as always because I need to heat it up. I'm just getting started with the double filtered. It's a big energy boost. Drink clean water. Angela, what's up? Norman, who we got on YouTube? We got Zippy Doodah. The YouTube names are so funny because it's not people's names. We got Angelina, Nicole, God bless you. God bless you, Angelina. God bless you, Cruz. Plasma Burns. Oh, interesting name. Becky, God bless you. Dawn, God bless you. Makes me want to buy more Goya. My mom used to put Goya on everything. It seems like a direct attack on Puerto Ricans, I'm not going to lie. I know other ethnicities use Goya as well, especially in the Hispanic community, but my mom used to put Goya on empanadas. She used to even put it on pizza. We used to put adobo on everything. I'm not sure how healthy that is. It's probably not healthy at all, but it's like, calm down, guys. They're going nutty. I got all the clips. I got some articles for you guys. We'll talk about it. Wait for like 5 more minutes. I'm sorry, maybe 5 more seconds. What's up, Beth? Let's get it started. I don't want to delay anymore. So yesterday, Trump had some sort of meeting with business leaders. I think it was meeting with Hispanic business leaders at the White House. I know my buddy Jesse went. If you guys saw my interview that I did with Legsit Facebook page, and then, it was a few Hispanic Trump supporters on my YouTube. That's how I titled it. My buddy Jesse, who's a great guy, was going to the White House. So I already knew there was some sort of Hispanic meeting at the White House. Only 50 people were invited, I believe, because of COVID-19. So at that meeting, I already knew it was going to happen. The president, or the CEO, of Goya got viciously attacked by the media. I'm going to tell you what they're saying in a second. Viciously attacked. I mean, he must have said something terrible, right? He must have just lambasted people and been rude and been mean and hateful. Actually, no, he just simply complimented the president, and not even a compliment to the president will get you in trouble with the mob. Just simply being apolitical. I remember Tiger Woods basically said something along the lines of, I respect the office. That's all Tiger Woods said. He's like, listen, regardless of who's president, I respect the office of the president of the United States. Roughly what he said. They tore him apart. I mean, you had Max Kellerman. He's got it looked like a little situation going on there, like a bunch of dots. I'm not going to say he's got something, but, it looked like a little something. He's like spewing at the mouth on his, and it's like, bro, you're mad at Tiger Woods for simply saying, I respect the office of the United States, you got some serious issues, my man. These people in culture are just like unhinged. But this guy went even further, and he said, according to, I'm on CNN Business right now, we are truly blessed to have a leader like President Trump, who is a builder, Yoon News said during the Rose Garden speech. We have an incredible builder, and we pray. We pray for our leadership, our president. So he just said, we are truly blessed to have a leader like President Trump, who's a builder. That's all he said. He said, we're blessed. He's grateful. He calls Trump a builder. Trump is a builder. He's literally factually a builder. He said, we have an incredible builder. We pray for our leadership, our president. Let's go to the fact check. We don't need USA Today or Washington Post for this. What did Trump do before he was even in the United States? He literally, not personally, but he had the commission to build buildings. He's literally a builder, not only physically and literally and business-wise, but also as an American. He's like an upward thinking guy. He wants to get things going. Whereas you see I'm not trying to make it overly political because there's, liars on the left and the right and bad people on both sides. But if you look at the new left wing, they called Bernie Sanders a radical in 2016. They're more radical than Bernie Sanders was in 2016. At least in 2016, he would compliment Mount Rushmore. Now these people, Nancy Pelosi doesn't care about the statues. Joe Biden says, he's bowing down to the mob with the police and such. These people, they don't build. They're literally physically destroying monuments, statues, a lot of things in this country, physical businesses when it comes to the excessive shutdown orders. So what's wrong with the CEO of Goya saying, we're truly blessed to have a leader like President Trump, who's a builder, not only like real estate wise, but literally he's an upward. We have an incredible builder. We pray. We pray for our leadership and our president. There's nothing these people hate more than people who love God and love this country. If you're white and you love God and love this country, they're going to lie about you and call you a white supremacist or a nationalist, even though it's not true. If you're Hispanic like him and love this country and love God, they're going to call you a nationalist, or I don't know, they'll call you a sellout to your own people. They hate people who like God, and they hate people who are appreciative of the country. You should see my DMs on Instagram. The amount of messages I get. I'm a Cambodian immigrant. You wouldn't believe how grateful I am to be here. My parents instilled gratefulness into me. I'm so blessed to be here. These spoiled, rotten brats don't understand what it's like. My parents escaped communism. My parents escaped this. My parents came from Africa. My parents came from El Salvador. My parents fled Cuba. My DMs are filled with fantastic Americans of all ethnicities, religions, genders, whatever category you want to break people in, who are grateful and appreciative to be here. We're not perfect. We have flaws, We could do better in some ways, but America is not only one of the, if not the most diverse civilization or nation in modern history, but it's also one of the most prosperous and least racist places. That's why everybody wants to come here. If we were the most racist place in the world, no one would want to come here. Muslims are not flocking to China because some of them are being put in camps. Africans are not necessarily flocking to China unless you have a lot of money and business connections, because you're not going to be treated properly there. There's certain parts of the country people are in no rush to immigrate because it's not great for them there. This is not that place. It's a fantastic place. And I said also on my Instagram the other day at Dream Rare, my Instagram be popping. I said, if you don't like this country, I understand. Listen, we got a lot of problems. If you want to go to El Salvador, I'll pay for your flight. And I literally mean it. I'll pay for your flight to go there. And then we could trade you if I could, get with Department of Homeland Security. We'll trade you for a great person from El Salvador, a family who loves this country. Because I don't care whether you're white. I don't care whether you're any ethnicity, culture. If you don't like it, as Bryson Gray said in the song, go live in El Salvador. There's millions of people in South America who would love to be here. And that's a fact. So what's up with this nonsense? That's all he said, was that he's blessed to have a president like Trump, and they hate Hispanic people who love God and love the country. And I have a rude awakening for these progressive brats is most Hispanic people like God. So if you think you're going to get the entire Spanish and Hispanic demographic to hate God, our Lord and Savior, you're in for a rude awakening because, I don't know many white people named Jesus. I know, I know at least 10 Hispanics with the name Jesus. So you're not going to get them to hate God. I'm sorry to break it down for you. Let's see what these spiteful, nasty, hateful, downward spiraling, destructive people had to say about a God-loving, God-fearing Hispanic legend like the CEO of Goya. Igor Volsky, who is I got to look up exactly what he does, but a Jewish American, some sort of anti-gun progressive in a sense. He said, the CEO of Goya Foods is at a White House event saying we're blessed to have a leader like Trump. Make your shopping decisions accordingly. So he's trying to blacklist and ban and censor, or rather boycott Goya now. And this is the headline of the CNN Business article I'm talking about. Goya Foods boycott takes off after its CEO praises Trump. So they're trying to start a Goya boycott. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that wonderful, polite, kind, nice, totally not wicked woman, beautiful lady. Here's what she said in response to that. She said, oh, look, it's the sound of me Googling how to make your own adobo. So they're trying to start a boycott against adobo for simply praising the president. It's absolutely outlandish. Julian Castro said, Goya Foods has been a staple of so many Latino households for generations. Fact check, true. Now the CEO, Bob Unanue, is praising a president who villainizes and maliciously attacks Latinos for political gain. Americans should think twice before buying their products. Goya way. He said Goya way, which technically could be considered hate speech because, he didn't say Goya away. He said Goya way. So I get he's combining the two words. But if I were a snowflake like them, I'd say that's hate speech. But I'm not really offended by words and labels. I have better things to worry about. And one of the biggest signs of privilege in this country is having the privilege and the luxury to complain about 10-year-old tweets from Kevin Hart, or to complain about, what Doja Cat said when she was like 21. That's privilege. If you live in a country that, you're facing war or poverty or starvation or worse, you don't have the luxury to care about that stuff. It's such a spoiled, rotten American privilege to even care about this stuff. It's ridiculous. I mean, some countries would love to have the shelves lined up with Goya products for a cheap amount of money. And you're complaining that he complimented the president and likes God. He prays. They hate Hispanics who pray. And I have a very rude awakening. They're lucky that they have Univision, brainwashing people with far left-wing agenda, with Jorge Ramos or whatever his name is, and that whole crew there. They're lucky because once Hispanics figure out which political party really loves God, which political party really appreciates the country, like most Hispanic immigrants do, legal or illegal. Why do illegal immigrants come here? For a better life. Listen, I've worked around illegal immigrants my whole life. I've worked on a farm. I've worked in many places. They come here, work for very, very cheap, take jobs that a lot of people won't take, and end up sending money back home. So they not only live semi-comfortably here on a low salary, what may be considered uncomfortable to you is comfortable in perspective to people who can't make that much money in other countries. So they not only live off a wage that you won't take here, but then they also send money home to provide for their family in the other countries. So the point I'm making is illegal and legal immigrants appreciate America or they wouldn't be here. So I'm so tired of these spoiled, rotten progressives who not only want to disagree, that's fine, but try to boycott and censor and destroy the lives of anybody who is really just grateful to be here and appreciative, like most Hispanic immigrants, whether they came from Cuba, Spain, or South America, or Mexico, or Central America. Here's Molly O'Toole, a 2020 Pulitzer Prize winner, incredible. She tweeted 50 Hispanic American leaders. It shows like the little memo that they put out. And then she said unnamed. So she's trying to bring attention to President Trump didn't name the 50 Hispanic leaders who went. I don't know if she's trying to say they didn't go or who are they, or, trying to pretend like it's not real or wants to know who they are. The reason the president or the White House probably didn't name them is because these people are vicious. They dox you. They try to put your public address on the internet. They try to destroy you. They try to sue you, get rid of your job. There's a girl who made a TikTok supporting the president. They're nearly trying to kick her out of school, the activists and such, just for supporting the president of the United States. So, of course, he's not going to name the Hispanic leaders. Why would he? Why would he put people at risk? Like I said, I know one person who was there who is Hispanic, to be honest, in a wheelchair from, I'll let him tell his story, but it's like, these people are vicious. And he's not playing the victim. He's a strong guy. I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, Hispanic people were there. They didn't name them because simply loving God and praying for the president and saying he's a builder when he factually, literally is a builder in every sense of the word, that's too much for them. And they always play the race card and they always say he's done all these terrible things. What has he done? What did he do? They have to lie about everything to get their point across. You don't have to agree with the president, but do you have to lie just to get your point across? There's many things I don't like. I don't like that the president does. There's many things that I don't like that certain conservatives do, but I never use these words in a vicious, censoring way. Call them racist, call them sexist, call them anti-Semitic, call them xenophobic, call them Islamophobic. I don't use those words excessively because those words are usually used when you don't have a logical reason for why the movement's bad. For instance, Black Lives Matter. I love Black lives and Black lives do matter, but I think that the organization is a progressive, socialist, communist, Marxist style organization where they don't believe in the nuclear family. They don't believe in a lot of upward mobility, low tax, small government policies that I like. So I don't agree with the movement. And I think, it's not good for America or the Black Americans that they claim to like. You notice how I disagreed with them without calling them racist? I could just say, yeah, they're racist because they hate Black people and they want them to have no families. It's a cheap way to get out of an argument. And I'll tell you what, a lot of liberals do it, but also a lot of conservatives do it. All the same conservatives that tell you that they fight for free speech and say that they're not snowflakes. The second you talk about something that they can't articulate, they call you racist or anti-Semitic as well and can't fully formulate. Why do they hate these people? Why are they wrong? Just explain it without using those words. Those are cheap words to shut down the discussion. And for an example, I have two examples real quick. I have a whole video on it. Maybe I'll share it. But when President Trump used the word animals, I don't necessarily agree with it as far as politically or socially. I understand how it could be misconstrued. But he never called illegal immigrants or undocumented workers. He never called them animals. That never happened. They still say that to this day. They're still sharing it on Black Lives Matter Instagram accounts. They're still trying to push the false narrative that he called all undocumented immigrants and illegal immigrants animals. He said it to MS-13. I'm not saying it. I'm not justifying it, but he was talking about specific vicious gang members. He was referred to them as animals. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you're going to disagree with it, say, hey, I think that they're people too. But what they do is they put a broad brush and say, oh, he called all illegal immigrants animals. He never did that. He absolutely never did that. And same with, when he said they're bringing crime, they're bringing drugs, they're rapists. When he said that, if you play the whole clip, the end of it is, well, I assume most people coming over are great. And they cut that part out and said he called all people coming over saying they're doing that. That's not true. But at the same time, I understand it might not be the most palatable way to hear it. But Obama talked about it as well, human trafficking and drug trafficking. That's what he was talking about. It's really not that hard to figure out. But all this other jazz just really slows down the conversation and makes it impossible to find a solution, because as many great illegal immigrants are coming to this country, there are human trafficking. There's people getting raped. There's people getting murdered. There's drugs. There's fentanyl coming from China to Mexico that's killing hundreds of thousands of American citizens and probably illegals too. There are real problems with open borders, and you can see it in other countries too. So the point I'm getting to is, regardless of your politics, regardless of what you believe, just tell the truth. Stop lying about everything. And certainly these people, these wicked people who want to threaten, boycott, silence, destroy the lives of anybody who just takes a neutral stance, anybody who supports the president, heck, you can even support them and they'll still come for you. You could look at, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. He's super progressive, super, socialist minded when it comes to his politics, super into all the identity politics stuff. He loves that stuff. And they still said, Jacob, go home. Jacob, go home, because he won't defund or disband the police. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go the distance. So they hate him. They hate the mayor, Jenny, whatever her name is, of Seattle. Why? Because she has to run the city. At a certain point, she doesn't want to turn the whole city into Chaz or Chad or whatever it's called. So they hate her. So it's not just you that they hate. It's not just the president. The president's the scapegoat for how they feel about anybody who likes God, anybody who likes the country, anybody who likes low taxes, anybody who's not ashamed of their ethnicity, anybody who doesn't want to bow down based on their skin color, anybody who believes in content of character, anybody who doesn't want to get discriminated against just because of their skin color. That's who they hate. They're just blaming Trump now. When he's gone, they're coming for you, like the meme that he shared. It's just true. And even now you see it. What are they so mad about? What did he say? He didn't say anything. He literally just I could compliment Obama. I did compliment Obama. Did the right-wing mob come after me? No one acted that way. I'm sure there were a few degenerates on the right, but you can't compliment somebody. I've complimented LeBron James in my last video. I don't agree with 85% of what he preaches. However, if he tells the truth, I like to throw a compliment like a human being. Like, we disagree, but I appreciate that. And that's the type of positive reinforcement that gets people to do what you want them to do. And that's what a lot of people don't understand on both sides. For instance, President Trump did prison reform. This is not a big right-wing thing. It's more of a left-wing thing politically that a lot of rappers, a lot of people who are more liberal-minded, including myself when I was younger, wanted to reform the prison system, give people a second chance, let nonviolent drug offenders who don't do crazy, terrible stuff, give them a second chance at society. I've had friends go to jail for mistakes they made when they were younger, and they turned out to be great people. So it's a thing that he did. He got no love. I mean, Van Jones is maybe the only liberal person who gave him credit and worked on it, Ivanka and Jared included. But everyone else, it's like, give him positive reinforcement. Say, thank you, President Trump, for prison reform. That's how you get people to do more of it. But you're starting to see with these people, they don't actually care what they preach about. They don't believe in what they claim to believe. Not only are they hypocrites, they have a bad ideology, a bad mindset, and a bad strategy. So there's a reason they're destroying not just statues. It's a destructive ideology. It's not building a new. It's like destroy, 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 and then go after people who disagree with you. So positive reinforcement, showing love to people, is how you get them to work with you, but they don't want to work with you. They don't want to find common ground. They don't care. They're coming for like pure chaos. That's all they care about. And like I said, and then I'm going to get to some comments and questions and we'll chat for probably 30 minutes or an hour. But during 2016, Democrats did not act this way. The Republican Party, if they don't win this election, they're not going to win very many in the future because their campaign message has already been written for them. In 2016, Bernie got chased away because they said Bernie's too radical. Socialism's too radical. His social and political and tax ideologies, they're too radical. We don't want Bernie. We want a centrist. Yeah, real centrist. We want a centrist like Hillary Clinton. We want a centrist like Joe Biden. We can't have Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. That's what they said in 2016. You look at old Bernie clips, Bernie Sanders in 2016, from 1990 to 2016, is less radical than the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi, a couple of years ago, not her, but the media said, oh, it's crazy. We're just tearing down Confederate statues. We're not going to do other statues. They laughed at Michelle Malkin and called her nuts. Now they're tearing down all these statues, and Nancy Pelosi could care less. Joe Biden, these people are more radical than Bernie Sanders was in 2016. So the message should be clear because it's true. It couldn't be clear which side of the debate now loves this country and wants to keep somewhat of the prosperity. It's very clear which side of the debate doesn't care and doesn't have a backbone. They have no spine. And the second that they get a spine, like Jacob Frey or Jenny from Seattle, they get attacked by the political mob because these people are rotten. They're spoiled rotten. They don't appreciate America. They're most of them are second and third generation. People who have been lucky enough to have their parents at one point or another get to this country, and they don't appreciate it because they've never had to work hard. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm a 50-year-old boomer, but it's just true. It's like, I've been negative too. I've been self-destructive in a point in my life, and then I became grateful. Even before conservatism or libertarianism, I had a spiritual awakening. I was like, wow, I am blessed. And it wasn't like I had a lot. I had no money. I had no car. I had less than $1,000 in my bank account, and it was used to pay rent every month. I was paycheck to paycheck. But I started looking at the world differently. Instead of saying, he has connections, his parents are connected to the music industry. You know, she's worse than me. He's not a good rapper, but he's got good management. That's how I used to live. And it held me back in every sense of the way. I was more depressed. I was drinking and doing more drugs. I was doing things that were downward spiraling. And then I had an awakening, and I said, man, you know what I do have? I have a roof. I have the ability to, I was in Los Angeles. I have the ability to be in a big city so I can go network, go to hotels, try to, network and whatever. And I was like, I got food, I got shelter. I was like, I got a supercomputer. I got an iPhone. Most people have an iPhone or a Galaxy now. I'm not saying everyone, but most people have a smartphone. It's not just a phone, it's a computer. I was able to live stream. I'm like, I could reach the world and that's what I did because of the mindset. And that's the mindset they hate. And they make it like it's a white thing. It's not a white thing. If you're white and you have that mindset, they're going to be the meanest and most vicious to you until they do it to other people. If you're black and you have that same mindset, like Terry Crews or Herman Cain, they call you an Uncle Tom or another rude word. Great documentary is called Uncle Tom, is out now. Check it out. It's got Brandon Tatum, Candace, Herman Cain. It's a fantastic documentary. I watched it and paid for it. And, and then if you're Hispanic and you do the same and you're appreciative and grateful and you want to work hard and start a business or run Goya, they treat you the same way. These people ideologically don't like you if you're grateful and appreciative, and they like you when you're victimized. I'm not going to use the word racist to really broaden it, but if you're going to use that word, which I'm not going to do it to silence them, what could be more racist than that? Looking at black and Hispanic people, looking down at them and saying, I'm better than you. I have more than you. I'm more privileged than you. I need to help you. This is what they've been doing since the 70s and the 60s. And Malcolm X called him out on it from then. He said, the liberal ideology is the most wicked person in the Western Hemisphere. Look up the clip. He knew even back then, because they come to your community, they do all this stuff, they take control of it. And then if you try to break away, they call you all these names. How dare you wear a suit? How dare you be a brain surgeon? How dare you not identify with the criminal as opposed to the intellectual? How dare you listen to Thomas Sowell? Listen to rap music. If you listen to the most ignorant rap music on the planet, they don't care. They say, cool, good for you. They're all, and I'm a hip hop artist. I listen to ignorant rap too, but you get what I'm saying? That's how you need to identify. How dare you identify? And that's getting away for Latinos in America and everybody, but and white and black. But for Hispanics in America, they're brainwashing you to think that that's who you are. Most of you come from a family where your family loves God. Your family loves family. The Hispanic families are some of the tightest knit families and probably the least divorce rate among many demographics. So this is not your natural state. This is not your ethnic state. This is not your cultural state. This is a brainwashing attempt to destroy your family, to destroy your culture, and to destroy the country that is given so much to us that people still to this day, even among all this chaos, want to come to for the opportunities, for the lack of racism. And these phonies like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and phonies and fakes like Julian Castro are so dishonest and disingenuous. If you're from Argentina, if you're from El Salvador, if you're from Mexico, if you're an honest person who actually has any sort of perspective, or you grew up around Hispanics, not me. I'm not going to be honest. I grew up around mostly Mexicans, but nobody was really racist or anything. But the point I'm trying to say is, you go to a lot of these countries, there's so much pride. Argentinians have so much pride. They don't look at Mexicans and look at, Puerto Ricans and say, oh man, we're all the same, intersectional. They look and wave the Argentinian flag and say, we're Argentina, we're better than you. You're nothing. There's a lot of racism in South America. There's a lot of not only inter-skin color racism all over South America, but inter-Hispanic racism all over the place. I'm better than you. This is, Messi over, your soccer player, like, or football player, they call it football. But there's so much racism in the Spanish world. There's so much racism in, Africa. There's a lot of racism in Asia. There's racism all over the place as far as people who believe that they're better and people who are not so tolerant. America is one of the most diverse places in modern human civilization. It's one of the least racist places in modern civilization. And the biggest form of racism right now is all coming from left-wing ideology. They specifically want to discriminate against you based on your skin color. They specifically are targeting certain individuals based on their skin color or politics. If you are the skin color they want you to be, they're targeting everybody. They're the most racist people in the country by far, and they can't thrive or survive with true equality. They wouldn't exist if the country was doing fine. No one would ever vote for them again because they'd realize what is really going on. They won't let racism die. They are the ones pushing it. I don't use the term racist at all. If you know, it's overused, but if you're specifically only hiring certain ethnicities and you're going out of your way to demonize and not hire certain ethnicity, isn't that what the bills were passed or the act was passed in the 60s and 70s? Isn't that what we were supposed to get over then? They're not even following, the own stuff they passed. I don't even know how this is remotely legal that they're even doing this in this country. These people are wicked, and they hate you if you're successful. They hate you if you're smart. They hate you if you love God. They hate you if you love your family. They hate you if you care about all Black lives, like Terry Crews. They hate you if you care about the children who are getting murdered, because they don't want you to know about that. Because once you figure out how many children are getting murdered and what they're getting murdered by, it destroys their whole narrative of the worst thing in this country is what they say it is, because their whole agenda is backwards. It's all, by design backwards. And then I'm sure a lot of people in on it don't even know exactly what they're doing, but it's not right. It's not kind. It's not accurate. It's not going to help anybody. And it's certainly not, the intersectional between that and Hispanic people overwhelmingly love God and love their family and love the country. So it's not going to be popular for very long. As soon as right-wingers get a univision that can preach the right message, or people come out and start, spreading the word of God and the word of the truth, it's not going to last very long. So God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'm going to get to some comments. And as always, just understand, don't buy into fear. Fear lowers your immune system. Fear and stress weaken your body. That's how they want you to feel. They want you to hate yourself. They want you to be fearful. They want you to be negative, because then you're easy to control and you wither away. Be strong. Have a good day. And don't buy into their fear mongering. And that's it. And also, the lie does not last very long. The truth will push through, because that's what happens. The truth is like a stone barrier that just doesn't move. They could say what they want, do what they want. The truth is not going to move. It's going to sink in one way or another. They might take the country down with them, but the truth is going to sink in. It's not going away because it's real. What they're saying is the lie. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're negative. That's why when you look into their eyes, you don't see a soul. You see like a dark, it's like a creepy vibe. You look into their eyes, you're like, well, I gotta look away for a second. I gotta go look at some clouds to get that out of my memory. So it's all gonna be good. What's up, Scorpio brother? I have to say, my man, thank you for the super chat. You're one of my favorite people on Twitter. You're very funny. I see all your replies and I appreciate you. Stephanie, thank you for the super chat on Facebook. Thank you guys for the stars and stuff. I know I've been going off, but I'm gonna read some comments right now, and we're gonna get to it, folks. Let's see who we got. Gregory. Someone says, "Stop the world. I want to get off." It's okay, Greg. Don't buy into it. It's gonna get tough. It's gonna get tricky, but you got to be strong. There's two options. One, can you do anything about it? You can't do anything about it. Then we got to deal with it. If we could change it, we could try to change it. But if we can't, got to deal with it. Someone said, "Get some Goya beans, son." I have to say, my mom, because my mom is the one that was Puerto Rican in my family. She was always putting adobo, which is a Goya product, on everything, on pizza, I grew up on Goya products. However, I don't really buy them anymore. I try to buy more fresh stuff, but I guess the beans are probably fresh. I don't know. I'll go buy some Goya, put them on my head next live stream. I'll stack Goya on top of my head just to flex on them. I'll sit there, with 5 Goya cans and be like, what, Alexandria? You got a problem? Someone says, shout out to the veterans. Shout out to the veterans. God bless you guys. Let's see who we got. Someone said they're selling out on Amazon. The funny part about it is, here's the funny part. I would say, in my estimation, 80 to 95% of Hispanic families don't care what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says. They don't care about these progressive, spoiled, rotten brats. No one cares. So Goya is probably going to make more money. You're going to have conservatives who are not Hispanic finding out what Goya is. Like, I never bought Goya, I'm going to buy Goya. And then most Hispanic families don't care about the fringe radicals. And this is why hopefully Trump could win the election, is the campaign slogan. Like, they tried to put Biden to be moderate. You know, he's a moderate. He's not Bernie Sanders. They've trapped themselves, because if they tell the truth, they'll lose half their audience. If they don't, they're going to lose hopefully all the independents and people in the middle. All right, I'm going to read. Charcoal Council said, don't fear. God will take care of us. Pray. He will provide for his followers. God bless. David said, hey, dude, what do you think about the shortage of coins and cash? Someone asked about that. I don't know. I think most money's digital already, so I'm not really tripping. Dennis, thank you. Sorry, I missed. There's so many chats on both. I'll try to swipe up. Thank you, Ben. I just want to thank you, Daniela. Someone said free stars for you. Thank you so much. If I missed your star chat or your super chat, I'm sorry. We're so cracking right now. We got 649 people on YouTube. We got 4,600 people on Facebook. That's 5,000 people. Listen, folks, stack the Goya. I'm going to have a Goya hat. I'm going to look like, what's her name? The Chiquita woman. Just got Goya all over, and I'm going to do a little dance for him. There's one guy in YouTube. His name is Duke. He says, he just keeps saying F you Trump, but he's been here the whole time. He's been here for 40 minutes, just repeating the same thing. I don't even understand why you'd be listening. It's deep. It's deeper than Trump, even if you don't like him. But clearly you're listening. You've been here for 40 minutes. Iowan Patriot said, why is race-based executive orders good? I don't think it is. I've disagreed with the president when he does stuff like that. I don't think executive orders for speech regulation are good. I would love to get back on just content of character. We can help each other out. Once you help yourself, you can help others. They want your cup to be empty, because if your cup's empty, you can't help anyone else. And then you become, you become a psycho. But if your cup is full, then you could go help others. If we filled our own cups, they act like government's the only one who can save the Black and Hispanic communities. It's not true. Government ruins nearly everything they touch. When they get too much power, they ruin it, and it's all for a reason. Listen, I'm not a huge Jeff Bezos fan. In fact, I can't stand him. But Amazon does great products. If Amazon didn't give great products, they'd eventually fall down. Now they're taking control of everything, but they have a great service. Imagine if everybody got the same box from Amazon. No one wanted it, but you were forced to pay it every year, and they got $10 billion from the federal government. They'd have no incentive to get better. That's government. Corporations are corrupt. Monopolies are taking over. However, this idea that government's going to save our communities, it's never going to work ideologically, because they get the money and they don't have to do good service. So they act like they need to take our tax money and take our rights and take our, mandate all this stuff to help us. If we had full cups, we'd be able to help each other, and we would help each other. Who's there to help Shelley Luther? Who's there to help the Black business that got burned down? It's people. GoFundMe's. That's the human nature. There's faith-based organizations that help as well. So, it's a lie to say that the federal government's the only one that could save us. They do the opposite. Someone said, I don't like Trump, but I watch you because you do have a good point. Well, I appreciate this, because you'll find sometimes I disagree with Trump, and people say, how dare you, anomaly, I love Trump, don't disagree with him. I don't care. And vice versa. We appreciate you, and God bless you. Thank you for, listening. And in general, I want to say this real quick with the mask mandate. The COVID-19 virus and coronavirus that causes a common cold, but both of them are, millions of people have COVID-19 in America. The mask is to stop or slow the spread. We're not going to stop the spread. We're not going to slow the spread. I'm not saying coronavirus isn't bad. I'm not saying it's not dangerous. But at this point, the virus is already in millions of people. The masks are going to do what? What are they going to do? Slow the spread? Can you slow the spread? How long can you slow the spread for? The flu's been around for at least 70, 80 years, if not longer. The common cold's been around my whole life. Where's it going to go? Where's COVID-19 going to go? It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, wear the mask. It's like, I get the concept of the mask. It doesn't help with breathing, but it helps if you sneeze or you're disgusting, you're talking, it'll stop a few droplets, but then it'll attach it to your face. It probably does some damage there. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is they don't even know you got to do it because they said to do it. To do what though? To stop people from getting it? You can't stop it. you're not stopping COVID-19 and you're not slowing COVID-19. So what are we doing it for? It's ridiculous. I'm not anti the virus. Like, I'm not a liar, but people don't even know why they're slowing the spread. You're not going to slow or stop a spread. And if you slow it, when are you going to get where are you going to slow it to? Where's it going to slow to? Does the flu's been around and the flu vaccine has been around for over 80 years. The flu is not slowing down. The flu, even with the masks, it's so ridiculous. It's like, well, you're going to do it forever at this rate because it's not going anywhere. The only reason it would go somewhere is if it's a virus that was manipulated, that'll eventually fall apart and go back into its natural state. That's the only, scientific reason from people that I've read that are Nobel Prize winning scientists that it would fall apart. If it's a natural virus, why would it disappear? How some of them do, but most of them don't. So it doesn't make any sense. People think it's going to end next month. Why would it end next month? They're mass testing. If you tested this many people for the coronavirus, and I want to say this too, it's on the CDC website. It's not my opinion. It's not my theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's on the Center for Disease Control government website. It says the antibody tests, and I'm going to do a whole video on it. The antibody tests for COVID-19 can also pick up the common cold coronavirus, the one that causes the common cold. So that's a very common virus. So if you're testing this aggressively for the common cold, let's say it's reversed. They've never tested this aggressively for flu. They've never had this much media coverage. This is unprecedented. If they did the same thing for the common cold, they tested tens of millions of people. They said anybody with common cold died from common cold, which they don't do now, but they do that for COVID-19. If they did that, you'd have hundreds of thousands of deaths worldwide because it's just a numbers game. You got 1 billion people get common cold or 100 million people get common cold. How many people die out of the general population? What's the percentage of people that would die that would, percentage wise have the common cold when they died? Did they die from the common cold? It's a number. It's never going to end. People think it's going to end. They're like, no, Anomaly, you don't understand. It's not going to end. You don't understand the math they're doing. You don't know how they're counting. You don't know how loose they're counting. You don't know what they're qualifying as a confirmed case and a new case or a probable case. You don't know what they're calling a COVID-19 death. There's no reason it would end. Why would it end? You don't know. This counting is never going to end. If they count this aggressively forever, and if they did this for any other virus, it would never end unless the virus disappears. So people think they're getting their mask off. Have fun. It's going to be March, and then it's going to turn to April, and then it turned to June, and then it turned to July, and eventually it's going to be September. And they say after the election it's going to change. You wish it changed after the Trump election, but it's not going to go away because of how they're counting. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not something I made up. I can prove it, and I have with my videos. It's on the CDC website. It's on government websites. It's out of their own mouths. That's how they're counting. All right, let's get it popping. If you want to support, thank you, DKK, Watch Addiction. I guess that's some foreign, what is that, like Denmark money? The boys out here throwing Denmark money. Let's go. He said, I live in Denmark. Masks have never been required. The only place where masks are required is at the airport. I have seen almost zero people wearing a mask. Thank you for the comment. How's it in Denmark? How's the virus spread? Are people just dropping left and right, or is it pretty fine? Appreciate you, Denmark. It's funny how the more progressive European places are actually doing a more conservative libertarian job. Isn't that funny? Sweden, one of the most democratic socialist places in Europe, is one of the most conservative libertarian. And then you have America with a Republican majority turning into snowflakes. 606 dead. Okay, yeah, it's not very many. I don't know. On half of your population, I would have to do the math. Iowan Patriot said, I'm glad you don't support the race-based. Yeah, that's the problem. And I've talked about this. God bless you, Iowan Patriot. I've talked about this in conservative circles over the last year, and a lot of people didn't want to hear it until now. But what they don't understand is you can't fight political correctness with political correctness. You can't fight hate speech with more hate speech. You can't fight identity politics with identity politics. And then they do identity politics for everybody except for one group. It's not fair. And you certainly can't fight, racist policies with more racist policies. The Republicans, they don't get that yet. They try to fight hate speech with they say we're fighting cancel culture, but then they cancel themselves. The biggest hypocrites on the right wing are like, we're fighting, it's the left. No, it's you too. I've seen you cancel culture. You threatened Michelle Malkin. You ban people from your events, and then you support President Trump's executive order to pass hate speech and other, in my opinion, race-based executive orders. I hear you. It's very frustrating to see that a lot of Republicans don't get that, but we're teaching people, because a lot of people get their media from a few sources, and if those sources don't talk about it, you don't hear about it. That's why Tucker Carlson is so effective on Fox News. It's not just because he's libertarian conservative, it's because he has on progressives like Jimmy Dore, Tulsi Gabbard. He gives them a platform to speak the truth. He gives other people a platform, and he fights against the Republican Party. There's nobody like him. That's why he's effective. And he's waking up millions of Republicans to realize that it's not just the left, although I would say that they're responsible for a lot of the problems. The reason it doesn't get solved is because the right wing is corrupt. I read a tweet, and then I'm going to get back to the comments. I read a tweet of somebody who said, Lindsey Graham was going to fight the deep state until, he got elected. And I'm like, Lindsey Graham was never going to fight the deep state. Like, if you thought he was going to fight the deep state, that's on you. You gotta be a little bit, have a little more discernment. So it's like they make mistakes and they freak out. It's like, we're calm here. We're calm because we saw it coming. Someone said, I had to get tested for work. No symptoms and not sick. I hope it's a negative result. Yeah, I hope so too. Because nowadays, here's the thing with the schools that people don't understand. If you look how many people died from the flu, kids, in the last flu season, over 100. I think the number was like 144, 160 something. That many kids died from the flu. But there's no lawsuits. There's no this and that. I believe less people have died, less kids have died from COVID-19, but they don't want to open the schools. And also, if a kid does die, because when you got 350 million people, kids are going to, unfortunately, it's a sick thing to think of, but kids are going to die for many reasons. And if they die and have COVID-19, they're going to say they died from COVID-19. And then there's going to be lawsuits and all this media narrative. You probably never knew that over 100 kids in the last flu season died from the flu or with the flu. You probably never heard that. It's true. Look it up. But they're using math and statistics and, ways to skew data and skew media coverage to make you think that if that happens like 3 times, oh my God, 20 kids, it's terrible. But we've had the flu kill probably thousands of kids over the last 10, 20 years, and they've never shut down schools. It's insane. My buddy Venice Beach Dub Club, what's going on? He said, you think there will be massive voter intimidation this year? Antifa harassing in red districts? I don't know. I mean, I would think that they would crack down on that. Let's make this too, my dude. We'll see. But absolutely, check out Venice Beach Dub Club. He's a fantastic reggae artist, phenomenal. We're going to do a song. Ed Z said, first the virus control, next the division and the rise, control, divide, conquer. It's a war on many levels. Thank you for the super chat, Ed. Bingo said, what do you think about the kids on TikTok? TikTok is a fantastic platform that was created. To be honest, it took the place of Vine. Vine was a similar type TikTok. Vine, I believe, got purchased by Twitter, and then they disbanded Vine. So they sabotaged themselves, and then, China took over that space. Yeah, I mean, depending how serious our beef with China is, it could be a security risk for people. So I'm kind of indifferent on it. Whatever the American government decides to do is fine with me. I downloaded a TikTok, but I deleted it like a month ago because I started reading more about it. Someone said it was Musical.ly, not Vine. Well, yeah, Musical.ly as well, but Vine, I'm saying Vine was pretty similar too. Not exactly the same, but Vine was, 5-second quick clips that was very popular among kids and young adults. Mox said, I think if Trump were to disable TikTok, it would really backfire. I have younger. Yeah, they all do dances on there and stuff. They'd be like, Trump's stopping my dances. We'll see what happens. They'll get over it. I'm going to read this real quick. Jarrah said, I'm a supporter of police, but remove the union. That's how we have bad cops. Fly one flag, the American flag. That's the crazy thing about the manipulation from the media is, all right, let's talk about the George Floyd situation. Okay, it was bad, right? They don't get to the core. Why was he doing that type of, violent kneeling? Where did he learn that? Why was this happening? Why was he there even though he had multiple offenses? Probably a police union or some sort of fraternity that, holds them, that won't hold each other accountable. Same with like the teachers union used to be fantastic, but like the government, they got so much power. Now in many ways they're out of control. Same with probably the police union. So a lot of that is backed by Democrats, a lot of the union. I'm not blaming them particularly. I'm sure it's a bipartisan issue, but they don't look at problems like, okay, why was that police there? Why was it there? Let's correct it and let's make sure no police kill people. That's what a rational person would say. They don't do that. They say it was racist. There's no sign of it being racist. So when a black cop kills a white homeless guy, does anyone complain? Have you even heard that? I saw the video. No one thinks it's racist. If it's a white person doing anything to a black person, they just immediately say racist. There's no evidence at this time to prove that it was racist. If anything, it was personal. They knew each other or they worked at the same place. That's a possibility. But they're saying it's racist instead of saying, why did it happen? Was it the union? Was it this? Was it that? They're so counterproductive. It reminds me of like if a problem happens and I'm in a room with like 5 intellectual people and we're all sitting there and we're like, okay, let's solve this problem. Okay, let's look at it. Let's be honest. If regardless of the races, I have the ability to tell the truth. If it's a black or white or Hispanic or Asian, police, non-police, I don't see that. I mean, I obviously see it, but I don't judge based on that. Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? Who did the wrong thing? It's not like a race thing to me. Tell the truth. If people were in a room trying to figure out what happened, the progressives come in and just say, racist, sexist, native, they ruin everything. And I'm not even saying conservatives do the right thing, but it's like, it's hard to focus. That's what they do to President Trump. They just drag him down. They're like jumping on your back, just screaming and then saying you're not doing a good job because you won't allow us to do a good job. And I'm not saying to not pressure the president. I criticize the president. Tucker Carlson criticizes the president. Glenn Greenwald criticizes the president from the progressive angle. Jimmy Dore criticizes the president from a left-wing angle. I don't always agree with them. Sometimes I think they're flat out wrong, but they somewhat, at least sometimes make sense. And I respect that. These other people don't make any sense. They literally do the opposite. If Trump does something right, they say he did it wrong. If he did it wrong, they're playing this game of like, how can you solve a police problem when you do that? You say it's racist when it had nothing to do with that. Okay. It's ridiculous. Recently there was a black woman punched a white cop in the face twice. And then a black cop came and knocked the lady out. So if a white cop would have done that to the black lady, they would have screamed racism. If a black cop did it, they don't scream racism. But if something like that happens, can you prove they hate that person because of their skin color? Or did they just get in an argument? I just saw body cam footage of, I don't know the ethnicity of the police, but I think the officer was black. Some guy ran away and he tackled him. And the guy was on the ground was screaming, he shot me, he shot me. And the cop said, you can cry and lie all you want, but I got body cam footage. So the guy was trying to lie and say he got shot to get an Instagram moment or, hopefully get someone to try to frame the cop. So, body cam's important for that reason. But it's like, I don't judge people based on skin color. Are they honest or are they not? Who was right, the police or the person? And people don't do that. They just see white cop, black person, that person is wrong, or black, white, or Hispanic, this. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And it's totally counterproductive. Whether it's black, white, cop, citizen, illegal immigrant, legal immigrant, Mexican, South American, Asian, watch the video, see what happens, tell the truth about it. Is that hard to do? Is it really that hard to do? If someone of a different political ideology of you does the right thing, just tell the truth about it. How hard is that to do? These people can't tell the truth. It's insane. It's like this like backwards ideology. If I see a white cop do something wrong to a black person, I'm going to say it. Vice versa. Or if I see it, the race doesn't matter to me, I'm just going to tell the truth about it, like every decent person should. But they won't allow this country to do that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, BAEAU. I don't know how to say that. Waco, Texas. God bless you guys. Thank you. The content's metal, dude. God bless you. I appreciate it. Natalie said most cops are heroes. I mean, there's good and bad cops. I'm not going to say most, but to be honest, it's a tough job. I have friends that have police officer siblings, My buddy who is his brother's a police officer and he's black. Not that it matters, but it's like they don't care about David Dorn, the black police officer that got murdered. Recently, a Hispanic police officer got murdered. They don't care about that. When a white police officer gets killed, they don't care. They don't see all the things that they stopped. They might have busted human trafficking. These people claim they care about sexual assault. What about the hundreds of people that ICE rescued from human trafficking? ICE doesn't just deal with illegal immigrants. They also deal with human trafficking, and they've saved a lot of lives. You could disagree with ICE on certain things, but this idea that they're all bad, it's a childish mentality that isn't honest. It's like they're all bad, we're all good. That's not true. It's like you get rid of police officers, you get rid of Trump supporters, you get rid of President Trump, and you get rid of every racist person, whether fake racist, like, you lying about them being racist, or legitimate real racist. If you get rid of all of those people in this country, these communities that they claim that they're helping would not change because a lot of the problems are self-inflicted. I'm not making excuses for bad people. However, it's just true. They think if they get rid of the police, all their problems are going to go away. They're going to get worse. They think getting rid of Trump, all their problems are going to go away. They're going to get worse. Reality is going to set in. Their ideology is not real. It doesn't lead to success. Well, Chaz and progressivism is going to make Seattle just a utopia. No, it's not. And you're going to find out because it's never going to happen because every angle that you're coming at it is just not right. It's like that's not what's going on. That's not a majority of the murders. Police are not out here murdering people in the highest numbers possible. It's simply not happening. More homeless people will die in Los Angeles in a week than police will murder unarmed Black Americans all year. And you could pretty much take that to the bank. It's true last year. It'll probably be true this year. One county alone, homelessness kills more. One weekend in Chicago kills more, okay? 1 month probably now in New York City. So it's not the biggest problem. It's a problem. It's definitely an issue, but it's the biggest issue. You get rid of that, these problems are only going to get worse. How many lives did police save? Okay, they killed 9 unarmed people. How many lives did they save? How many unarmed Black people did they save with their presence? 100, 1,000? There's no statistics for that, so they don't care. Recently, my buddy said his mom was watching CNN a lot and she stopped watching CNN because she listened to a Sam Harris podcast. Sam Harris, who in my opinion is a little bit insufferable, but I appreciate him a little bit. He's a atheist liberal type guy, but he did a whole breakdown of this and he was like, listen, he doesn't like Trump. He's not Republican. He's not conservative, but he's like, I'm not a huge liar. Like he just started going through police statistics and was like, I know you guys, from a liberal perspective, he's like, I know you want me to say that this is true. He's like, but statistically, it's just not. So if you believe a lie, it's not going to get better. And that's the truth. And he got through to a CNN watcher to be like, wow, that's real. Don Lemon used to say what Jesse Lee Peterson says. Don Lemon used to say what Bill O'Reilly, he said Bill O'Reilly didn't go far enough in 2013 because you had a Black president and a Democratic leadership. So it was safe to tell the truth to people then because it wasn't a threat to their political party. He said, I never would have thought Don Lemon would say that Bill O'Reilly didn't go far enough. I wouldn't even say that. That's crazy. Like if I said that, they would call me far, far right. I wouldn't even say that. It's like, I think Bill O'Reilly goes far enough on his own. Don Lemon's like, go further. It's like, calm down, Don. You're going to hurt someone's feelings out here. Max said, it seems like our generation, for some reason, we're told life is supposed to be easy and comfortable all the time and no one should disagree. It's privilege. They talk about white privilege. That's American privilege. That's 21st century privilege. The ability to think you're oppressed with Uber Eats, $1 million, you're half white, you got raised by a all-white family, you played in the NFL, you have a Disney and a Nike sponsorship, and you're oppressed, you're going to college paying $50,000 a year on Twitter on your smartphone, ordering Postmates. It's American privilege, 21st century Privilege. They have privilege. There's a privilege to everything. The word privilege, if you look it up and what it means, there are privileges in this country, and they stick to one because they're the racist that they're looking for. There's female privilege, which is certain benefits you get for being a female. There's extremely beautiful female privileges that you get for being an extremely beautiful female that you wouldn't get as a man, no matter how good looking you are. There's privileges to being black in certain way. You might get a scholarship, or, you might get identity politics on your side. There's pros and cons to every ethnicity. Strategically, it's like if you're Jewish, there's going to be some major pros to that, and then there's probably going to be some cons to that. If you're white, there's going to be some pros in certain situations to being, lighter skin. And then there's going to be times where it works against you in the universities, in the colleges, a job market now. So there are privileges to ethnicity, to skin tone, to gender, to attractiveness, to how fit you are. That's just how the world works. I'm not saying it's right, but this white privilege is the only. No, there's certain times it's better to be certain things. Like for me, I always joke, but I'm being serious. I'm very ambiguous looking. I tan well, but I'm also part Hispanic, mostly white European, but I look like Armenian. Some people think I'm Middle Eastern. I have a privilege of being dark skinned enough, but light skinned enough, but also looking ethnic enough to everybody thinks I'm part of them, which is awesome. I feel comfortable in a lot of neighborhoods you might not, because everybody, you Armenian, bro, you Hispanic, no one knows what I am. I appreciate it. That's a privilege I have, not for being white, but for being kind of white, kind of Hispanic. It works in my favor in a lot of situations. I have Hispanic privilege. Why do I have Hispanic privilege? Because I'm part Hispanic, I could put down Hispanic on a job interview and probably get an easier job than a European person. And also, I got invited to the White House, not specifically, but a large reason I got invited was because it was Hispanic Heritage Month and I'm Hispanic. So if you're white European, you don't get a month. You don't get Jesse Lee Peterson has White History Month. But besides that, they discriminate, even the Republican White House, against Europeans. I don't know, maybe they have an Italian month or a Greek month, but as far as my knowledge, they have the Black Summit with Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. He's the only non-Black person allowed to be there, but and then they have the Hispanic Summit. So that's a privilege I have because my mom just happened to be part Puerto Rican. So there's privileges to everything, and that's the truth of the word. American privilege, 21st century privilege, woman. They don't talk like I talk. This is real talk. You can feel it. This is the truth. It's not going anywhere. It's not fading away. You can't censor it. You can't silence it, because even if you do, it's gonna hit you in the face. I'm not going to do that. That's violent. I'm talking about the word, like the truth. You're walking and you turn into it. It's not going anywhere. The truth does not move. It's not leaving. It's not moving to a different country. The truth is going to be here forever. Okay. So you can lie. You can try to, that's what they do. They can't win an intellectual argument. So they have to, nobody exists except for me. They destroy everybody. They're like, I won. Yeah. Cause you destroyed everybody. It's like me stepping on a basketball court and just, slicing off everybody's legs and pushing them in the corner. Oh my God, I won 200-0 against Michael Jordan. And you got Michael Jordan and, Shaq in the corner, like, tied up. It's like, yeah, I won because I eliminated everyone else. That's a scummy thing to do. That's the only way they can win, because they're not honest. This is called double filtered water. This is what happens when you got the water filter in the glass. Someone said, I'm not going to read exactly what you said, but you said has nothing to do with drugs. They're trying to say I'm on drugs. I'm not on drugs. This is water, a little bit of coffee, exercise, okay? Fitness, waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, okay? Waking up with the sunlight, going for a walk. This is called no drugs. I'm amped up on filtered water. Try it sometime. How we doing, folks? Rachel said you have one of the best side profile faces. I don't think so, but thank you. That's a confidence boost. I feel good now from the side. I don't like the side. The side profile kind of creeps me out, but I appreciate it. What's up, David? What's up, Marivi? Thank you, Susie. God bless you guys. I'm going to hang out for like 20 more minutes, and I'm going to keep it moving. Tom said, what are your thoughts on police brutality, a race issue, and or public dissent against authoritarianism? Well, I think they could look into police brutality, if you want to talk about that word. They could look into the police force and see how they're being trained or who's training them, and if it's effective or it's dangerous. And that's a fine conversation to have. I don't know what the other thing you said, and I think it should be had. But this idea that it's like the number one problem facing our country is just not true. For other things, dissent to authoritarianism, I don't know exactly what you meant by that, but yeah, it's not easy to dissent against the people who are trying to control everything by design. That's always how it goes. In every country that's authoritarian, they don't allow you to dissent. So right now, the only thing standing in their way is President Trump. They own, or at least have, the ideological control over most institutions, most media outlets, most companies. So it's gonna get difficult even with the president there, because they already control most stuff. So I said, you're obviously not on drugs. What does it say though? And I'm not mad at it, I don't care, but what does it say about our society that if somebody's happy or has energy, that they must be on drugs? It shows you how they treat us, which is why, the foods they feed us and the ideology they feed us and how they tell us to act is, if you're excited and happy and energetic, they say you're on drugs. And if you're not, that's status quo. That says a lot about how they've, knocked down our morale in this country. And we're lifting it back up, folks. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate you. Mary said, I love when you end your live streams in prayer. All right, Mary, we're going to do it today then. God bless you, Stephen. Joey said, you're high on life. That's true. And it's energy. It's like we got 3,700 people still on Facebook. We got 653 on YouTube. That's over 4,000 people. I'm envisioning myself right now in an arena. You know what I'm saying? We got 4,000 people. Think about that. No social distancing. It's just like, we got a Rome level arena here, just speaking facts to the world. Aline or Alan, appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, now that I got my computer set up, I got my microphone set up, I'll do the dual live streams now. I got y'all. How come Republicans are not exposing them as Marxists more than? I saw Rudy Giuliani talk about it. Some are, some aren't. But that's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and wonder why Republicans aren't doing it. I got to do it, or other people have to do it. I don't know why they do what they do. Are they paid off? Are they lazy? Are they just not that good? I don't know. Maybe they want to do it some other way. Not sure. I'll read this. What are your thoughts on police arresting all the bad police and cleaning up their department before they can do any good to the public? What makes it difficult, and this is not, to me, listen, I have to say this. I'm not this police fanatic. I've had bad experiences with the police myself. I think like any institution with power, in many areas, not all, but in many areas, they've become corrupt. So I'm not here defending them over everything, but I feel like people are trying to blame police officers for a cultural and systemic problem that we have everywhere. Unions protect bad workers in all, in all teaching, post office. They do some good. They'll protect you if you're good. Sometimes there's pros and cons to it, but the con is it's hard to get rid of people. It's hard to get rid of people as a teacher. It's hard to get rid of a police officer. There's a decline, I think, culturally in every area. When you have a country that prides itself in safety and cleanliness and effectiveness, you thrive. It's like, I always use this example. If you go to a 7-Eleven in the suburbs, it's beautiful, or a Wawa, or Ralph's, whatever. You go in a nice area, it's a totally different company. It's beautiful. You can sit in a Burger King and it's like a 5-star restaurant. If you're in a Burger King in a bad area, or you're in a 7-Eleven in a bad area, it's hell. It's like there's 20 homeless people outside. There's people talking trash, to the person, at the cashier. You're only a net sum of your own people. So on a countrywide scale, I believe we're declining. We're declining because we have weak rules across the board. I'm not even just saying weak immigration rules, but I'm talking about weak culture, weak mind control, weak schools teaching kids the wrong way to act. They're not teaching kids respect and content of character. So our whole country is declining. So I can't sit here and act, although I've disagreed with the police many times and I do think they're corrupt, I can't act like they're the only problem. This is a cultural and systemic problem, not just, union wise, but also just our whole country's declining and no one's honest enough to really try to get it at the core and fix it. Like Lil Wayne said, he said, how can we expect them to be better when we're not better? I don't have unrealistic expectations for the cops when I don't see it anywhere else. Why would they be perfect and no one else would be? So I'm not making excuses for bad cops, but this is a cultural problem that is leaking out into the police force like it is everywhere else. It's the same with the teachers. Are teachers doing phenomenal? No, they're probably more corrupt and more biased than ever, but I don't sit here and blame them for 3 years. I see the problem as a whole and I try to, get it from the core. I got to stretch. What do you think about Trump threatening to withhold funds from schools that don't open? I mean, I'd have to look at it closer to really give an example, but there's no reason. These people are never going to stop doing what they're doing. Trump figured it out. They bamboozled them for a little while, but kids got to go to school. And this is what you have to watch for. Over 100 kids died from the flu in the last flu season. There's not, as far as I know, I don't know of any lawsuits because of it. COVID-19 is going to be different. If 20 kids die from COVID and 200 people die from the flu, say, for example, they're going to sue the school. They're changing the fabric of America, and it's never going to go back to normal until something changes because they've changed the whole way they deal with it, from testing to lawsuits to this. So they should open. I think it's probably a good idea that he does that because with how they're counting, there's never going to be a way to open. Never. Not next year, not in 2 years. It's never going back to normal unless you nip this whole thing in the bud like now. So there's no scientific reason that kids shouldn't go back to school. There's always been the flu. There's always been pathogenic or, whatever they're called, diseases, however you would really classify that as far as contagious diseases. This does not with the youth justify that. And even with the elderly, it's like, they're locking elderly people up. To me, this is my solution personally, and it really should be everyone's, but whatever. Quarantine the sick. If you're sick, you got to stay inside. Okay. You got to wear a mask, but to be honest, try to stay inside, go for little walks or something, but don't go to like public events when you're sick. Quarantine the sick. Give the elderly and the immune deficient an option. Give them the option. If you're 90 or you're immune deficient, you have the option like you always had it. If you go to a festival, you're at a bigger risk, but you might like festivals and you might say, you know what? I want to take the risk and have fun. I might get sick. I might hurt myself. I might kill myself, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Okay. Same with other things. So give people the option. Quarantine the sick. Let the elderly and the immune deficient decide for themselves. If they want to stay inside for two years, no one's going to stop them. If they don't want to interact with people, no one's going to stop them. In fact, we could make new companies and new organizations that cater to their needs, make them wear masks and have certain Uber Eats or Postmates where they all wear masks and deliver these people food. Start GoFundMes to help them, but let everyone else free. Okay. I have to go and get a coffee and they make me put a bandana around my face. What does this do? It doesn't block air. It doesn't block air. So if it's a airborne thing, it's not going to block it. It blocks droplets if I spit or sneeze, which I don't because I'm respectful. It's like putting a muzzle on every dog at the dog park because some of the dogs won't pay attention. Some of the dogs don't do what they're supposed to do. Okay, well, put a muzzle on that dog. No, let's put a muzzle on all the dogs in the world because that dog has a problem. That's not how they do anything. We're being treated like that. And I'm not saying the virus isn't real. I'm not saying it's not bad for some people who get it. For some it is. For some it isn't. But this idea that you can quarantine for what? To stop the spread? You can't stop the spread. To slow the spread? It's already been spread. You can't slow the spread. What type of science is this? They're not slowing the spread. They're not stopping the spread. You can't stop or slow it at this point. It's too widespread. So what are you doing? They're destroying our society. They're destroying our country. They're destroying the economy. And it has many mental, negative, and physical effects on people as well that aren't good. It's not all healthy. There's many damaging effects. I got a message on Instagram yesterday that he said 3 or 4 of his friends committed suicide. And he was considering committing suicide. And I said, don't do that. That's how they want you to feel. Stay strong, stay blessed. God bless you. And, kept it moving. But this does have an effect on people. So they need to quarantine the sick and make them stay home or get them to stay home. And then let elderly and immune deficient people and healthy people live how they want to live. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. There's no, and you see, people don't realize with this. You think, oh, well, they're the experts. Look what they're saying. The experts are saying that you need to wear a mask when you're having sex. That's what they're saying now. The experts said, wear a mask when you're having sex. You're putting your private parts in each other. You're probably living with somebody. If you're having sex with them and they're your partner, they're saying to wear a mask during sex. That means you're in the same house, you share the same bed, you're all over the place, touching all the same stuff. What's a mask going to do when you live and speak and talk in the same house as somebody? That's what the experts said. The experts said that our protests don't hurt people, but your protests hurt people. The experts said that hydroxychloroquine was horrible, and then the experts at Lancet retracted it. The experts at CNN said it's terrible, and then they said it actually has some benefits maybe. We're not sure. So these are not experts like they claim to be. These are brainwashed, self-righteous, clearly too politically or emotionally skewed mentally to do real science at this point. I don't care what degree they have. It makes absolutely no sense. It's ridiculous. This is what they're saying. So they're never going to stop. So let the sick quarantine, let the elderly, the immune deficient, the healthy live at risk. And we can make programs and we can make companies to cater to people who don't want to go outside, just like we already do. Amazon, Uber Eats, and Postmates. We already have things that are catered to people who don't want to go outside. This society is already fantastic. It's a successful, fantastic society. Don't ruin it. It's ridiculous. Sorry. All right. I got like 5 more minutes. Let's see. Max said, I feel bad for the elderly. They're treated like prisoners. Exactly. It's terrible. And look up on Google how many people hospital mistakes kill every year. Hospital mistakes on a low estimation are responsible for tens of millions of deaths. I'm sorry, excuse me, take that back. Tens of thousands of deaths. Error. Hospital mistakes on a nationwide scale are responsible on the low estimation, tens of thousands of deaths. On the high estimation, hundreds of thousands of deaths. So you're not allowed to see somebody in the hospital. You're not allowed to, in some cases visit or have them leave. This is crazy. They're locking elderly up like prisoners in the last years of their life. Maybe they want to enjoy their life. Maybe they want to enjoy the last years of their life because they're not going to live forever anyway, on earth at least. So, at a certain point, what are they doing? They're ruining everything. They're not stopping the spread. They're not slowing the spread. And have you ever heard anybody debunk what I've just said? They have to control the narrative. They can't. Are they stopping the spread? It's not possible. Are they slowing it? Slowing to what? Till when? They don't have a plan. Vandy615 said it's a Class A misdemeanor for not wearing one. It's insane. It's insane. But someone said more kids will die if they don't go back to school in the fall. If you look at the rate of children dying from COVID-19, it's astronomically low. According to some reports I've read and listened to, it's far lower than the flu. But they're going to do the lawsuit thing I just told you about. We're suing the school if a kid died with COVID-19. And they're saying anybody that dies with COVID-19 died from COVID-19. So if a kid, God forbid, dies and had COVID-19 and didn't, they're going to count that as a death. And with the flu, hundreds of kids. I'm not saying it's good. I don't want kids to die, but you don't shut down all of society because it's asinine. It's absolutely how many kids are going to get abused? How many people are breaking up and hurting kids because they can't go anywhere. You're not supposed to be on top of each other. The wife can't work, the husband can't work, the kid can't go to school. You're on top of your family all day, every day for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. I mean, in some cases it's nice, but in a lot of cases you need a little space. It's healthy to do separate activities sometimes. It's actually really good. So it's disgusting what they're doing. All right, I'm going to take off, guys. Let's end on a high note. Appreciate you. I'm going to read this. Abby said, here in Israel, you will be arrested for not wearing a mask in public. Yeah, it's nuts. I follow, thanks for the perspective. I follow someone from Israel on Twitter. So I've been following, and I follow a few Israeli publications just to kind of stay up to date. They're aggressively pushing it there as well. A lot of countries, some countries in Europe are very lax. Others are very strict, and same with other parts of the world. But it's insane. I wonder, I guess I would have to hear from you or someone else how the general citizenry feels about it. It's probably pretty split like it is here. It's insane. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you don't do anything, sign up to my free email list at stayintouchwithme.com. If you search it, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You can sign up to my email list and I'll eventually reach out to you. I haven't because emails are annoying and I don't want to waste your time, but eventually I'll use it. Stayintouchwithme.com. If you want extra goodies, there's patreon.com/raretalk. The only perk there, because I'm so busy doing all these videos, is I answer every message on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon patron or whatever at /raretalk, I answer every message. The perks on Facebook for the Facebook supporters are I do private posts a few times a month, and we do on average one time a month, sometimes more or less, depending on if I'm moving or really busy traveling. But there's secret special live streams for supporters only on Facebook. Those are the two perks. Besides that, 99% of my content is all public. It's all free. You can watch it on BitChute, BITCHUTE.com/raretalk. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. Heck, you could even watch it on Instagram. You might even see it on Twitter. So it's everywhere. It's free. Don't have to, but some people want to. Letting y'all know. Same with the stars and the super chats. You don't have to, but you guys are too kind. I appreciate you. And I'll be back soon. I'm going to work on a nice little video. Maybe I'll just wait till Monday since it's already Friday. That's probably smart. But I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow. And I'll have a nice, slick video, most likely by Monday, because I can't stop, won't stop cranking out content. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good one. And stream on YouTube and stream.